our meeting, we're going to talk about our policy toolkit. So we got everything published and approved by the board in June, and we wanted to kind of, I think Allie and Liz, you guys were wanting to kind of talk through maybe like a snack and share. I think that's kind of all part of the agenda at this point, is like, how can we share out the policy toolkit and make sure that more people are aware that it exists and what those components are. And we talked about that roadshow idea. We don't know if that's an in-person roadshow, if that is online webinars that maybe Recycle Colorado can host. We all have our Zoom and Teams accounts as well, but we wanted to kind of get the council's thoughts and ideas on what type of outreach that we might want to do around our toolkit. So I don't want to presume that I have any ideas here, but
I guess I would say we should identify really who our audience is for this. And I guess, we're talking about policy makers, local government folks making policy. So that, to me, would fall primarily on cities that have dedicated sustainability staff and/or building departments that are looking at codes, I guess would be my thought here, in terms of where this is generally originating from. Although when I think about Pitkin County, I'm not sure how it originated in Pitkin County, and exactly the structure. But I guess I would say I think when I think about like who came to the summit, that's very much like people that manage waste and are in policy space. But I think, so we've kind of touched on those folks, and we should continue to do that. But I think there's a whole area of communities that are working on sustainability, don't necessarily have someone dedicated in that space, and/or building officials that we might want to work with. So that's my 2 cents. Or try to get, solicit interest and then host a webinar or something like that.
I definitely agree that our policy toolkit is definitely geared towards like more government of entities and how they would kind of like structure what that is. Are there like any groups that we would maybe want to do outreach to and see if there's like joining meetings? Like one of the groups I was just thinking about now was the Colorado Municipal League. Like that might be a way to kind of get the word out, or is that, I'm just trying to figure out, like, do we just, know that like Superior and Lafayette and
well, we have a quarterly Front Range Sustainability Directors meeting, so that's definitely an audience to reach out to. That's typically the sustainability coordinator, director, manager, in any city in the Front Range area. That doesn't help the rest of the state, but that's one avenue.
that'd be good.
I could see CML, I guess, if we decide that there's another audience, which could be elected officials and/or sustainability advisory commissions or boards. A lot of communities have those where there's a citizen, appointed commissions. So that's another avenue if we're just generating a list of potential audiences. Those would be more coming at it from a different angle, like coming from the people that help set the agendas for the city as opposed to directly to staff. I know Anna's waiting to weigh in on this, so I'll stop talking.
Well, that was exactly what I was going to say. It's the public waste advisory groups. But I was thinking maybe I can take the lead on it, just create a Google sheet. People can write their ideas down, but we could I'm thinking just from a resource standpoint of our time, like doing a webinar and recording it, and then it could be on the website. So we could, create the list of people that we want to reach out to based on whoever's here, fill it in as much as we can, and then email those folks, tell them what date the webinar is. Maybe it's our next C&D meeting in a quarter, in 3 months or something, and then record that, and then we can just continue to push people.
I think that's a great idea. I'm wondering too if I don't know, maybe this is just me. When I hear webinar, I think, oh man, I'm just going to sit there and listen. get distracted and not listen. You know, I'm wondering if maybe we identify these audiences and we actually kind of shop it more as like, are you, you know, if we were to organize a workshop for advisory boards, would you be interested? We find out that we actually have an audience, make it more like a workshop type of thing, and then set out a doodle or like schedule it at that point, as opposed to like, hey, we scheduled this webinar, you should attend for informational purposes. I just wonder if that would be I mean, ultimately, what's our goal? We want to get the word out, but really we want people to move into this space. And I feel a little bit like the best use of our time might actually be a more roll up your sleeves work session with a group of interested people to help them take the next step than like, you know, just a generic blast. Or we could do both, but just a thought. Open to what you guys think.
We could have like a pared down version of like that's like 30 minutes, you know, a quick 30 minutes that kind of gives an overview. But I really like that idea of engagement and allowing people to kind of talk through those different pieces and hear from us.
And kind of value the fact that we're willing to give our time. I mean, we've got a lot of experts here and people with experience willing to share their time. And I think we should make that kind of a selling point to get people to join in, you know.
It kind of goes back to the audience point of view. So if it's more generic, it's like maybe just trying to give people an overview why they should care about this, steer some of their policy recommendations around C&D. Or if, like you said, we have these people that really want to learn and discuss. So I could see it making sense, maybe more worthwhile, like take in your first suggestion, Jonathan, and see who, you know, who is interested in this. And then if it's not a lot of people, then maybe we go back to, all right, we need to start with the why.
That's a good point of view. Yeah, I like that. See if we're still at the point where we need to make the case as opposed to roll up the sleeves. Got it.
Right.
That sounds good. I was oh my gosh. I'm blanking. Malik. Oh my gosh, who's in Light? She does compost. Julie Mock. Sorry, I was like going for the name. So Julie does compost, but she I think has been talking to the government down in like Salida, and they're interested in C&D stuff. So she maybe a couple months ago just had a quick call with me, and they were wanting to learn a little bit more about C&D. And it was like, I think right before the summit, and I was like, we've got the policy toolkit coming out, or maybe it was right after the summit. We chatted. We have the policy toolkit getting approved by the board. And she was thinking that she wanted to have like some type of C&D meeting, which I haven't gotten confirmation that it's been scheduled yet, but it would be down in Salida. I was like, well, we have the annual meeting down there. So I'm going to be attending that annual meeting. I'm not sure if anyone else from the C&D Council is planning to head down there, but I guess my question to you is if you are planning to go and if Julie does get something scheduled, would anyone want to like potentially kind of co-present like a session maybe on that Thursday, the night before the Recycle Colorado meeting? I'm not, Jonathan, there's great biking down. Just kidding.
I know there is. I probably can't commit to that. I've got the USDN annual meeting right on its heels, and I don't think I can be out of the house to leave both kids for that many days in a row. So I'm probably in and out of Salida, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it if there's interest.
All right. Well, I will put it out there that if it comes to be, I don't have to be the only one speaking to it, but I will be down there. So if it does come to be, I can let the council know, and be happy to have anyone join as well if you're able.
I'm not sure if this was a board conversation or if we had talked about this, Emily. So Liz or Allie, please jump in if I I'm misspeaking, but I thought because of the Mountain Summit Conference event that is going on the week prior to the annual meeting, that we decided that that Thursday would not be a good day to run the C&D Toolkit Roadshow meeting.
I hadn't heard that, so it's totally cool.
That may be
Yeah.
my
No, that is correct, Malik. I have already, Alicia and myself have already committed to being at the Mountain Town Summit on the Thursday before the annual meeting to talk about the Circular Economy Development Center. So, and considering how many of the mountain towns will be attending Mountain Town 2030, it seems like we'd be missing a big chunk of the audience to do that. But Jonathan, I wonder if your group on the Front Range, do you guys ever meet in person or are they always virtual?
No, they're in person and with a hybrid option. We just had it this week. The next one will be sometime fourth quarter. We do it quarterly. It's going to be hosted by Teresa in Golden. She sent out a doodle. I don't have a date yet.
I mean, it seems like if it would be possible, it seems like that would be a great place to test run the road show, because that would be a very receptive audience, and then take lessons from that experience and see if we could take it to other locations.
Yeah, I think we may have to use that as a solicitation to see who's interested and then do the roadshow as opposed to, I don't know how much time we're talking about, but I think, it's usually a 2-hour meeting and there's a lot of agenda items. So, and it depends on how long. I could throw it out there and see if people want to, give us that kind of time on the agenda. But typically it's like a 10 or 15-minute items. So, per item.
Well, maybe as you say, if we could get 10 or 15, if the C&D Council could get 10 or 15 minutes, then that would be this is what we've done. This is what we're thinking of. Are you
Who's
guys interested?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take that forward when the calls for agenda comes.
Thanks, Jonathan.
If you all want me to do that.
And
I think
and I wonder, is there any well, the green building isn't really our target audience because they're not doing legislation. I don't know of other sustainability groups that are specific to local government and in Colorado.
Well, ICLEI is an international organization. Their U.S. headquarters are in Denver, and a lot of local governments in Denver are members, and they have a new circularity area focus. So I'm not sure exactly what that's looking like yet. I think it's in development, but certainly they may be another potential partner to convene something here if they're doing something in Colorado. They have a presence in a lot of places, so they could be a potential partner. And the employee that's in charge of their circularity, I can't remember what they call it. It's not a hub, their circularity pathway. Their circularity pathway is a former employee of mine, and so I can reach out to her and find out what they're doing.
I think that sounds great. Let us know what
We
you
got a
find
couple
out.
to-dos here. Oh, John,
But you got the connections. All right. Okay. Well, I think we've got at least a first plan. Kind of let me know what those come to be. We can make sure that those are shared out through Allie. And if there's anything we need to revisit on that for our November meeting, we can add that to the agenda as well. Just that we have 10 minutes left. Do we want to talk about scheduling a C&D snack and share? Allie?
Yeah, we can totally do that.
I think you guys said we should do it. So
Yeah, next year we have like one person in mind. So any month you want, they will be the third Thursdays if we decide to stay with that time, 11:30 to 1, but presentations start at noon. If that works for everyone.
I think then it would be like a question of like what the topic might be that would be interesting. You know, or it could be like a combination of, we have our policy toolkit, we could have Anna as a member, talk about deconstruction in your warehouse. That way it's not just being like talked at, but you have like demonstrations of what it looks like. Not trying to volunteer Anna for anything in particular, but just trying to think through how it can be an engaging snack share and not just, here's our toolkit.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Maybe we could,
Or if Waste No More is coming on board, like it could be like kind of ordinance updates too, as well.
yeah, like kind of a workshop mashup of a bunch of different presentations. That'd be fun.
Anna, do you have any feel as to when Denver might have kind of a better like sense of their framework for their C&D portion of the ordinance?
They'll hopefully we'll look at it in November. That's kind of the ideal situation, so that could get postponed, but probably November. And then things would be going into place almost 90 days after, once the city council votes on it. So early winter time.
Okay. So maybe it would be better to kind of look at a like a June snack and share for us, just to like make sure there's some, if Denver has tweaks and gets everything up and rolling. Boulder, we've been doing deconstruction working group. We might have some changes to announce.
And I think Fort Collins, so they lost Tessa, but they're doing some like really big rearranging with staff and what they're kind of looking at their C&D ordinance from what I heard. I talked on the phone with the guy who's kind of overseeing it for now, but also finding the new person. He was kind of like shady on that. So yeah, they might have some updates coming as well.
Okay. So I don't know if you want to just maybe slot us in for June or July, just to allow for a few things to kind of shake out in the meantime. Would that be sounding good?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. All right, let us know. Okay, we only have a couple minutes left. I just wanted to quickly mention that there's a really awesome organization. They're kind of the only national organization working on deconstruction. They're called Build Reuse, and they're going to have their first in-person conference in Savannah, Georgia, February 12th to 14th. I know Anna and I have both attended their virtual conferences. Anna, I don't know if you went in person pre-COVID, but Anna has submitted for one of the sessions, and then after this call, will be submitting a speaker proposal for Anna and then myself and Michelle Crane to talk about what deconstruction looks like in Boulder from both a residential and commercial perspective. But highly encourage you to look at that conference. I know it's all the way across the country, but if this is like what you're really passionate about, it's a great organization. So I don't know, Anna, if you want to chime in.
Yeah, it's a really good organization. I was in person in 2019 in Pittsburgh and learned a ton and got really inspired, and would definitely recommend it.
So, okay, so we have 6 minutes for sharing out what you're doing. As I mentioned, we're doing our deconstruction ordinance like working group. We are looking at all sorts of components and how we want to potentially change things to focus more on deconstruction, preserving the built environment, versus just taking a diversion percentage perspective, which is what we have done to date. So I can update you more as we move through that. We're going into our 4th month of the meetings in September. So that's what I got. Anyone else want to share what we're doing?
I have it unmuted, so I'll share that we finished our largest deconstruction project yet in East Boulder. It was a 6,000 square foot house and an indoor pool and a extra garage, and it took almost 30 working days, and we kept about 95% of the entire structure out of the landfill, and it was definitely something to celebrate. And yesterday we finished a deconstruction project, 1940s house in Boulder, and learned that in the 1940s they made houses pretty durable, and there was 4 layers of siding and 4 layers of hardwood flooring and 4 layers of shingles. It was four layers of everything all around, but we still finished on budget and within the estimated labor hours for it. So things are shaking and moving on our side.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that Weld County's working with us and they're allowing us a waiver to go on an ag zone land. So hopefully we can get a site up and running that will be exclusive to treated wood. So we'll see.
That's music to my ears, James.
Yeah, well, I mean, Weld County, yeah, they actually gave us a waiver on their stuff. So we're looking at ag zone land now. Otherwise, it's going to be like $9 million for a piece of dirt.
Okay. Well, let me know. And if there's anything we can do for letters of support, anything at all.
No, we'll see. We're gonna have to apply here for long. Lori helped pave the way a long time back. We air tested treated wood. We're good on the air tests. We just have to go through the process now.
Great news.
Got a quick Waste No More update. Right now, the city's gathering public feedback on recommendations. There are 3 recommendations concerning C&D. One of them setting goals to divert 50% of waste from C&D sites starting January 1st, 2025. That moves to 65% in 2028 and 80% in 2030. And they're also setting up a deposit system.
Do you think that deposit's going to be like partial refunds or all or nothing?
Anna, Lori?
The city is working on that. We didn't have direct access to give guidance on that. It'll probably not be an all or nothing though.
Is there is that by volume? Like what's percent of what? Weight? Certain materials, Ryan? Those diversion targets, what do you measure? Or what is the recommendation to measure?
Let's see, I'm just looking at some numbers here, but Anna was in the working group, so.
Percent of weight, it's a lot like the city of Boulders in that way.
Even though we might be moving away from that, you know, maybe. Lot to discuss there.
It's a little bit tough on the weight since the aggregates weigh all the weight, you know.
That's why we're struggling with that. You can get most of your deposit back just by doing the foundation. And unfortunately, we had a house come down. It was and I'll probably chat with you about it. Like I sent you that picture, but it's like a 4,000 plus square foot house, and it was standing on Monday. I went on vacation Tuesday, and it is down, completely down now. So there's no way it was deconstructed. But we'll see what it comes back at. And I'm hoping to be, unfortunately, I couldn't get the video of it being torn down because I wasn't here, but it's just kind of a case of you can make a percentage just by basically using the aggregates.
We purposely recommended 50% right away because of market challenges and also contractor knowledge and overall end markets. So knowing that this is the first step to get, rather than go all the way to 75 or 80%. So we're hoping that contractors will start to get used to submitting a waste and reuse plan, getting the concrete diverted, and then it'll systematically get more, from there, increase in percentage and then increase the amount of materials too.
Awesome. Well, we are right at time, so I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining and all the great updates that we have. If anyone has suggestions for speakers, presentations for future meetings, I would love to hear from them. So please reach out to our board, and we will work to help you kind of get that coordinated. So just thank you everyone for your time. We'll see you in November, if not in October. All right.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone.
Thanks, Emily.